So what they chose is not even to go to Division II, they went to Division 1A. We are feeling growing pains in Division 1A because some of the kids were like, oh, I don't know if we can really do this. But we're very young this year, we only have 2 seniors. So we went from Division III up to Division 1A, which is a huge jump. And that's the kind of thing that if we can do it, we will do it. We're not going to hold kids back. And you know, for the most part, the coaches and Mr. Warner and myself, we sit down and we look at what's the best placement for teams. And I think this year we'll probably take it on the chin a little bit in hockey, but I'm sure next year you'll be reading about them doing very well. So that's kind of how we operate. Thank you. Any questions?
Well, you said that it was over 50% participation in athletics there. How does that compare with North Kingstown?
I think the report said it was 10%. It's much higher.
That was a point that came up with some constituents in talking with me. The ability for our students to be able to participate in a smaller high school rather than a larger high school. I think that I went to a high school that had 2,700 kids in it in Ohio. We were third in the state in football, and even though I was a pretty decent player, very rarely played, simply because, well, the guy I played next to is the head coach at LSU right now. And the guy next to him played for the Saints. And so, I mean, I wasn't going to play. So anyway.
Makes a difference.
It really does, I think it does. It's an excellent point.
I don't think the next speaker takes too much introduction, but Beth Pinto was the Director of Special Education and Services here in Jamestown for 6 years, and came to Narragansett shortly after I came when there was an opening, and has brought our special education department to that same level of excellence that she brought this special education department to. So I'd like you to talk about, this is a place, like Narragansett High School is a place for Jamestown kids.
I can't hear you because my heart is pounding in my ears. It's a pleasure to be back here, Madam Chair, other members of society, people of Jamestown. Some of you have been partners in your children's education, and I'm not here to give you the best. I'm here to give you just an opinion. I'm in a little bit weird situation because I was on the committee with Julia that did the high school search back when Mrs. Hall was superintendent, and I can clearly verify that the school that I go to now almost every day, Narragansett High School, is nowhere near. The walls were falling down when we visited 6 years ago, and they just completed a huge building project where they have state-of-the-art stuff, which you can read in the report. So my world is different than others. I'm here to talk about a few things, but I do think that the report was well done, and I need to compliment that. It's tough work, it's hard work, it's interesting work. I think the report was fair, but I'm here to just add some value to the things that aren't captured in the report. Dan was talking about the technology, and I worked in various school departments across the state, and the technology there is well supported, and everything is state-of-the-art. And I think that's a nice link with some of the NASA Science Map grant stuff that's going on at Lawn. I think that we could do some nice links with that. You have a weather bug thing out at Lawn or something like that. So that's something I know we can help support. Similar to Jamestown, there's a flat hierarchy in Narragansett. This is it. And there are other buildings, but you have access to anyone you want or need to have access to, which I thought was always a really good strength in Jamestown. Special education. The elementary school has expanded their inclusion programs and their special education supports for children with significant disabilities. The middle school has done the same, and the high school has done the same. At the high school, we have a real challenge in Rhode Island. Some of you don't have high school students yet, some of you do, about the new graduation by proficiency requirements and how that impacts people with disabilities. And it's not always an easy thing to prove proficiency in a very traditional way for some people that have challenges in reading and writing and organization and social skills. And so we're increasing our supports. And because we want our children to be successful in life. Some of the things that we've done to do that, because it's such a small high school, it's very personalized, which is another similarity to what goes on here in Jamestown. People know their children, and people know their strengths, and people know their challenges, and we try to use all those to make people stretch. It's not a perfect system. What we're trying to do is, you may or may not be aware of this, is an increase in dropouts in Rhode Island, and some of that I link in to the new requirements at high school. And with or without disabilities, quite honestly, we need to build support for kids. Some of the things we're doing are part of data analysis, obviously. A piece that I didn't see when I got the opportunity to go to North for meetings up there over the years, we really have still have some applied learning courses. We have a school to career program, which lets kids go out into the community, supported or unsupported, to experience work. As you know, and you've heard me say, results with children with disabilities doesn't lend itself well to employment, successful employment, because of a lot of things. So we try to give kids supported opportunities to do that. There's a agri-science program at the high school, and there's a greenhouse, there's a hen house, there's a maple syrup. What do you call that?
Sugar Shack.
Sugar Shack. How could I forget that? And it gives kids hands-on application to science, which some kids need hands-on to prove that they're proficient. So we have some things at Narragansett High School that, to my knowledge, North didn't have. I don't know if they have now. For some kids that need to prove proficiency through application. For children with IEPs, I guess these are young men and women with IEPs at the high school level, the focus on IEPs has been on transition to life after high school, whether that's a career path or whether that's a college path. And that's the focus of new IEPs for children ages 14 and up. And so that focus in our application, they don't call them applications, I'm just using that word because they still have rigorous writing and rigorous reading, rigorous math. But if in a school career opportunity, a kid can test out whether they want to be a professional. You're seeing these when they're 14. Nobody really knows what they want to do. They want to be a professional basketball player, professional wrestler, professional surfer. And so we give them more experiences to kind of hone in on what would be a realistic choice and what kind of training, whether it's a 2-year college, 4-year college, or a technical school after that, or whether it's an internship and a license for a CNA and the like. So we're increasing our focus on that. Let me just say one more thing about agri-science. That becomes a school within a school almost for some of those kids, because there's this association called Future Farmers of America, FFA. It's a national organization. It's big in the Midwest. You may remember it from Ohio.
Yes,
and it would be a misnomer to say Super 4-H, but it's a nice link, and they have competitions. But that becomes just as athletics is a nice niche for some kids in high school. This FFA program, agri-science, has become a nice niche for kids, and again, there's practical application of the sciences so people can prove they're proficient. So those are some of the strengths that I think Narragansett High School has that I didn't get to see when I was working in North through Jamestown.
Any questions for Ms. Pinto? I wanted to move on and just talk a little bit about 2 areas that weren't mentioned in the report.